Overthinking is a silent thief that steals your inner peace every single day. It sneaks into your mind like a storm, trapping you between unchangeable memories, worries about an uncertain future, and endless analysis of the present. You're not truly living, you're merely existing in a loop of relentless thought. But did you know? According to the Buddha's teachings, you don't have to keep enduring this. He said, "Do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment." This is not just gentle advice. It's a profound truth that can transform your life. When you return to the present moment, you return to life itself. Every moment is a doorway to peace. Peace doesn't exist in the lost past or the distant future. It exists now, in the breath, in stillness. The story of the monk and the river teaches that only by being fully present can we overcome any obstacle. Don't let your mind sweep you away like rushing water. Pause, take a deep breath, and return to yourself, the only place that is real. You are not the thoughts in your head. They come and go like clouds in the sky, yet we often mistake them for our true self. Have you ever felt like you were drowning in your own mind? Like your inner sky was covered with hundreds of dark clouds, worry, judgment, imagination, and relentless inner noise? But the Buddha taught, with our thoughts, we make the world. That means if you believe you are your thoughts, you will be trapped by them. But if you learn to simply observe them as clouds passing across the sky, you will rediscover your innate freedom. Imagine sitting by a river, watching leaves drift by in the current. You don't reach out to grab each leaf, hold it, or analyze it. You simply watch, breathe, and let it go. That's how you handle thoughts, not by fighting them, but by loosening your grip. The sky never argues with the clouds, and your mind doesn't need to either. When it's quiet enough, thoughts lose their power. The secret is this: thoughts only have power when you cling to them. When you let them come and go naturally, like drifting clouds or falling leaves, you return to a state of primal stillness, untouched by anxiety or distraction. From there, you can finally touch a deep, lasting peace. And when the mind is still, you begin to see clearly what is illusion and what is truth. The more you overthink, the more you suffer, because you're trying to control what cannot be controlled. You script every possible scenario, worry about what hasn't happened yet, and torment yourself with questions that have no answers. But the Buddha said, "It is not the circumstances that cause suffering, but our reaction to them." In other words, it's not the external world that brings pain, it's how we respond. When you constantly dwell on what you can't change, you're not just wasting time, you're chaining yourself to anxiety and insecurity. Try asking yourself, what am I thinking about? And, can I really control this? If the answer is no, it's time to let go. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means releasing the illusion of control. Like someone trying to push a massive boulder uphill, you could spend your entire life exhausted, and the boulder won't move. Thich Nhat Hanh once told a story about such a person and simply asked, "Why are you pushing a boulder that will not move? Stop, and the path will become clear." The practice of letting go is an art. It's not about abandoning responsibility, but choosing what's truly worth holding in your heart. When you stop fighting reality, you begin to touch the peace that's already within you. You'll see that most of your suffering doesn't come from what's happening. It comes from resisting it. So take a step back, breathe deeply, and remind yourself, not everything needs to be fixed, controlled, or understood. Some things are meant to pass, like clouds, like wind, like time. And when you can do that, you are no longer a victim of your thoughts. You become a mindful observer. When your mind becomes as noisy as a marketplace, your breath is the place you can always return to. Mindfulness isn't mystical or complicated. It's simply the ability to return to the present moment with full awareness. In the Buddha's teachings, the breath is the bridge that links body and mind. When your mind jumps around like a monkey from branch to branch, the breath becomes the thread that leads you home. Try stopping for a moment. Place your hand on your chest and simply notice each inhale, each exhale. No judgment, no fixing. Just observe. You'll notice something strange. When the breath calms, the mind calms. The Buddha said, "When the mind is at peace, the breath is at peace. When the breath is deep, mindfulness deepens." By returning your attention to the breath, you're not only interrupting the cascade of thoughts, you're opening the gateway inward. The mind jumps from past to future, creating a maze of anxiety and regret. But the breath is always here. Right now. It is the living reality, the safest shelter in the storm of thoughts. Every mindful breath is a step away from overthinking. You don't have to figure everything out to find peace. You just need to be here, now. And the beauty is, you can do this anywhere, on a bus, while washing dishes, even in the middle of tension. Because awareness doesn't depend on the situation. It depends on whether you're willing to pause and notice what's happening within. In a world flooded with information, choices, and expectations, your mind is easily swept into overcomplicating everything, from work and relationships to even the smallest daily thoughts. You worry what others think. You plan for every possible scenario. You think too much about things that haven't even happened. But have you ever asked, are all of these thoughts really necessary? Buddhism teaches that simplicity is the shortest path to happiness and inner freedom. When you release what is unnecessary, externally and mentally, you finally make space to feel true peace. The Buddha said, "There is no path to happiness. Happiness is the path." This simple sentence carries profound wisdom. You don't have to wait for everything to be perfect to feel at ease. Peace begins when you stop chasing what you don't need, stop forcing yourself to become someone else, stop worrying about what's out of your control. When you live simply, you see more clearly what truly matters. Zen monks call this shibumi, the elegant beauty of simplicity. They don't seek flash or fame. They find awareness in small, quiet acts like washing dishes, walking slowly, or making tea. And it's in those moments that depth reveals itself. When you peel away the complex layers of craving, you experience the pure freedom that comes from within. So if your mind is overwhelmed with a flood of worries, ask, what is truly necessary right now? The simplest answer will bring you home to peace. You often believe that negative emotions, endless thought loops, or present anxieties will cling to you forever, that you'll never break free. But the truth is, nothing lasts forever. The Buddha taught, all conditioned things are impermanent. Strive on with diligence. This is not just a reminder about the outer world's changes, but a truth about the inner one. Anxiety, sorrow, and pain are all temporary states, like clouds drifting across the sky. You feel stuck, not because the problem is too big, but because you believe it will never end. But look back. How many times have you thought you couldn't make it through? And yet, here you are, strong enough, wise enough, still walking. So what makes this time any different? Impermanence is a law none of us can escape. And instead of fearing change, you can choose to trust it. When you understand impermanence deeply, you stop clinging to control, stop torturing yourself with questions like, why is this happening? Or, when will it end? Instead, you begin to soften, to accept, and to smile at life's constant unfolding. You realize that every pain will pass, like a storm that eventually clears, like winter that always gives way to spring. So if today you feel tired and your mind is heavy with thoughts, Gently remind yourself, this too shall pass. And in every quiet breath, you'll see that peace has always been there, waiting for you to return.